Great. Hi everyone, we are Team 3, and today we did our analysis of basically how people spend money. We started off really by asking respondents a couple of questions, and the reason we're doing this is because we are a budding startup that believes that if you're serious about your money, then it should be in the form of a plastic credit card. We wanted to see if we could make the experience a lot better. We basically asked 5 questions: how do you spend your salary? How many bank accounts do you have? What other features would you like to see in a credit card? And what are your entertainment expenses? And then finally, would you open an account with us? And thanks to the power of unstructured data analysis, there's a lot to learn from these simple sort of questions. So the first insight that we had, we can tell your story. The first insight is that based on our responses, they fell in 2 categories. The first is like expenditure, basically like kind of what they spend their money on. And the second has to do with a lot of financial planning, what infrastructure, what stuff they use, credit cards, bank accounts, that sort of thing. And then the number of words, and this is not a word cloud, this is a topic model. But if we increase the number of highly repetitive words, we see that we start to see more diversity in terms of like what they spend their money on and what their financial planning looks like. Then the next thing, so they fall into 2 topic models. We're going to go down and see specifically what are the big keywords that they're spending their money on. So in this case, the 2 most frequent words were food and salary, but if we start increasing the number of words in the word cloud, we see rent come in. We see buying, we see entertainment, the kind of typical things that you would expect from a young, hip individual. Then the next thing that we wanted to do is we wanted to see some more information about their accounts. And basically what we found is that many of the students choose to hold, didn't really have accounts in the United States, but they had accounts outside of the United States to avoid foreign exchange volatility. I won't get into the interactivity part of that. And then the next insight was to see, how their transaction behavior, what their transaction behavior looks like. We started off with two words in the cloud. Typical words that you expect, accounts, bank, and then of course they start to spend money. The accounts come back in again, cash, and then there's illegal, right? So I don't know anything about legal, but it just showed up in the analysis. So hopefully that they're doing pretty decent transactions.
Yeah. So we dig deep and we tried to build diagrams for respondents who use credit cards. So we found out about their lifestyle, like what are their life choices, where do they actually spend money. As we see the diagram, we have links between credit and the banking. So it's like basically they need credit cards with extra features, and they need mileage for their travel things. They have like easy rates, timely payment. The most thing that came up here was real-time payments. As real-time payments are not being settled on credit cards, it takes a while to actually finish the payment. It takes a while to settle the payment.
Yeah, and those features they want.
So these are the features that they want. Then we went in and asked about what are the entertainment expenses. It was funny because one of my friend Diego wanted to go to strip clubs, but it didn't show up here. And so as we are seeing the sentiments, it's mostly positive, and it comes in anticipation that most of the things that they spend on were like love means they on their girlfriends, basketball, playing, bars, beers. So these were all positive, and it had an anticipation to it. So we found out, okay, the people really like to go out and do things for their entertainment. Then we created a nice classification. We found out that 20 of 28 respondents would actually purchase this product. When we asked them the final question, will you buy a product or not, they said 20 of them said yes, and 28, like 8 people were like, no, we are not going to buy this product if we gave them all the features. We ran the prediction model. Our prediction model, the test data was basically of 7 clients, and these 7 clients, our prediction model showed that all of these 7 clients will be buying our product. But when we ran the confusion matrix, we found out that our model predicts has only 5 correct respondents and 2 are the false incorrect respondents. That's why we have like 2 and a 5 in prediction and different in the confusion matrix. Yeah.
Okay, so based on the performance of the prediction model, the next part of this project is to try and see if we can predict whether a client will purchase the product or not based on the 5 questions. We want to try and improve the performance of this model to get it to a point where we can start reliably making predictions. And that's the end of our presentation. Hope you enjoyed it.
Okay, class, any questions?